Okay, so today we are watching the semifinals match between SOS and Stats. Gonna have put some analysis into these games. I can't remember whether or not I watched them after the finals actually happened, but as far as I know, I did not. So we'll just watch these replays and see what happened in this PvP matchup. If you know anything about SOS, which I'm sure all of you do, you know that he's a pretty unconventional player. So he likes to do awesome strategies that nobody really thinks of. I mean, there are some set in stone stuff that you can do, and there are only so many variations in StarCraft that you can do, but SOS is just a master at devising weird stuff, and it always looks as if he devises them on the spot, right when he starts playing. Anyway, so in this PvP matchup, we're just having the normal standard type of openings, the gateway into two assimilators. SOS, of course, being the blue player here in the bottom left, is going two gateways before Cybercore, and Stats replies with the same. Both of them are, in fact, just walling off their ramps, and as I'm pretty sure all of you also understand, it's because of pesky adept plays to make sure that you can either throw down a quick pylon just temporarily to block off any adept pushes, or maybe just use it so that adepts can't easily get into your base by just having a narrow opening, of course. Seeing SOS just, okay, there he put in his third probe. I was just wondering, this is in fact my first time watching these replays together with you right now, so no bias in these games at all, so I don't know what the guys will be up to. I'm just trying to see what they're up to as we're going. It's always awesome to watch replays this way. Sometimes you have to rewatch replays just to, especially from a certain player's perspective, just to see why exactly they responded in some manner. But in this style, we're just looking at the strats players use, and as we go, we just try to see why they do certain stuff. We're not really going into specific viewpoints or whatever. Okay, so first up, Stats went adept heavy play. He's already got two adepts going, shading into to SOS's location just to see whether or not he's making any units. As you can see, this wall of fur is going to help SOS to just plop down a quick pylon so that the adepts cannot get through. The SOS, as soon as he destroyed the scout of Stats, he went for a robotics facility and added a third gateway, which will most likely mean he's going for an all-in. Now this is true SOS fashion. He put down a pylon to make it look as if he's going to expand, but as we can most likely see from this opening, he's using so many resources just to make units and stuff, and tech. There he adds a robotics bay as well. He's really just going for a tech heavy opening and probably going for an all-in type of play, or one base at least, for a very long time. We won't be seeing a natural expansion from him very soon. Now, Stats on the other hand, his natural expansion is almost complete. He did only open two gateway, pressuring with some adept scouting and stuff, because SOS knows that the adepts can do some work if he is not careful. So Stats is smart. He's just containing SOS in his base for the time being, because those adept shade ins can be devastating. But yeah, on the other side, Stats is just being a bit careful in his base. He's keeping a sentry and a stalker for a little bit of anti-air. You can even see the shield battery in his mineral line, which is awesome. That will help protect against any oracle type of plays. I'm not exactly sure about this. If you've seen my other videos, I mentioned that I've not been playing, or recently I've been playing StarCraft a lot, but I came back from a long stint, so I'm not too up to date, especially with this patch that they played in. But concerning that, I was just wondering, I'm pretty sure that a shield battery can help one stalker to fend off an oracle, whereas without a shield battery, of course, oracle will just destroy one stalker. You need at least 3. Anyway, so awesome drop here by SOS. He went a depth drop with his War Prism and did some damage. I'm not exactly how many kills he got there. Where can we see? Units lost, total 4 for stats. I apologize for not showing the getting the correct tabs up here, but we can see there 3 probes lost anyway. However, I managed to get that up. I think that was just auto generated by the game. Anyway, where's everyone? Okay, all the viewpoints are open. SOS just pressuring. As you can see, you went for the robotics bay, so so you went for the disruptors to pressure stats, and this is very all-any from him. He has a lot of stalkers and disruptor. The attacks coming in. Oh, disruptor gets an immortal, a War Prism for stats as well. Now this is very classic PvP play, especially in of course in Legacy of the Void, with the 2 War Prisms having nice extended range for picking up units. So they are excellent at increasing your micro advantages. Oh, awesome! This disruptor coming from behind. Wonder if that was intentional, but it looks like it. Now, looking at these armies, it just looks like SOS has a much bigger army, so he should be able to eke out a win over here. He's trying to pressure that one immortal, shading in with his adepts. This one adept is getting stuck. This looks deadly from SOS. This immortal from stats is doing decent damage, and he's microing it with the War Prism. But another disruptor shot will probably end this game right here. In the meanwhile, we see some adepts there in SOS's base, but he lost quite a few probes, to be honest. I did not exactly see that happening. I was really focused on this one battle. It's huge. It actually looks as if stats is holding well. Because of this adept harass here in SOS's mineral line, he only has 9 workers left. This actually looks very good for stats right now. These few stalkers and adepts won't be able to destroy 2 immortals, especially with the War Prism helping to save them from some extra damage. Stats doing an incredible job at that. Just look at that awesome micro. Well, okay, so this game looked very good for SOS, but as we see, sneaky adept play can be excellent for PvP and to gain an advantage, because SOS, this should be the final blow momentarily. Yeah, there's the GG. So just quick analysis on that game. That was very action-packed game, so there was not much to, and especially that one drop that I missed. I'm not exactly sure how to bring up the timeline with this replay interface, so I'm just sorry if this is a bit annoying, but I'm just trying to seek here. Let's have a look. While this fight was happening, it looked good for SOS, and then it pulled all the way up here. I just want to have a look at when stats decided to go for the harassment, because that was the play of the game. If that did not happen, I think SOS might have been able to overwhelm Stats' army. Okay, so let's look there. There's a shade through. Oh, this is so smart. I think SOS thought that was a fake out, but then Stats actually just went through with it and said, oh well, I'm gonna have a smaller army for the time being, but 5 adepts into SOS's base. And look here, SOS did not even spot this, so he just sent his own adept straight up to here, to this main battle. And there's the main damage. So this is really excellent. Adepts are, I don't want to be cheesy or anything, but they are adept at killing probes. They're so skillful, and the damage output, it takes 2 shots from one adept to kill a probe, or any worker for that matter. And this was basically the killing blow that sealed the deal for Stats. Stats, in fact, had a smaller army supply, as you can see here. He did lose his adepts here, and his smaller army over on this side is, in fact, not too strong, but the immortals with the War Prism is making it very manageable for him. So, yeah, all in all, there's not much else to say. Stats played very safe. but still poking with adepts early on in the game to make sure to keep basically to keep SOS honest. He knows SOS loves to do unorthodox plays and is probably going for an all-in type of play. So he just kept SOS honest with the heavy adept play at the start, and that basically ensures that the other Protoss player cannot really move out on the map because it will just be his death sentence. So what we can learn from this is definitely try to play as aggressive as possible when you play PvP. Well, most matches, if the situation calls for it, or allows for it, I should say. The strategy you're going to use, if it allows for playing a bit aggressive out on the map. Some strats don't, of course, for a little while. But anyway, all I just want to add to that is just play as aggressive as possible. Use the adept play. They have not been nerfed in the current patch either, so just use the adepts to just be pesky on the map. And the only downside to that, I think, is a bit less tech early on, but we saw stats going for an early expand whilst pressuring. And the other downside is heavy early Stargate play from your opponent can be detrimental to you. That's why stats covered his bases a little bit here by just adding a shield battery, and he left a sentry and a stalker here. So they should have been able to counteract some early Stargate harass. But of course, if SOS had gone Mass Phoenix, this might have looked a bit different, because stats at the start, when after his worker got killed here, the scout, he had no clue what SOS was up to. So, but he did at least not scout the Stargate early on, so he was rather sure that perhaps there was not a Stargate. Well, at least he was pretty sure that there was no Stargate in SOS's base, and he could have deduced that by the way SOS played, that there was probably no Stargate proxied anywhere. So yeah, that's just the main takeaway from the game. Play with your depths early on. I definitely need to incorporate them more into my plays, because I'm a guy who, for some reason, I'm just set in my ways. I love to go stalker heavy at the start, maybe transition into blinks, or maybe immortal drops and stuff like that. Also early expanding. So yeah, all in all, I also need to incorporate some of this awesome safe yet efficient play by stats, which is very awesome. He covered most of his bases, most of the balls that could have crushed him early on. Only thing I think he might have done better is by creating a pylon here in his natural and making sure he got some shield batteries up. That would have, I mean, it's only about, well, I'm not sure in this patch what it was, but it's only 100 mineral investment right now. I think it was the same in this patch. And in PvP, well, in most matches, but especially PvP early on, shield batteries are indispensable. So that's just another point to remember. Make shield batteries, guys. Thank you.